welcome to Hey, Hi, Who Are You? The podcast that's hosted by me, Merike Hess. And today on the show, we have Harry Potvin, the host of the H-Panel podcast, which is a podcast all about mental health. And it's breaking down barriers of talking about mental health with men and different athletes. And honestly, his show has been really great to listen to, especially through lockdown. So I really hope you enjoy this episode with Harry and stick around. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
It looks like we have the same microphone.
Yes, you've got the snowball.
The snowball. I know it's the.
Well, actually, I got this originally because I was making rap songs.
Yeah, this is originally because I was writing my own songs too. I'm up at my cottage, by the way, so I have a different podcast background today.
Very nice.
Yeah. Well, how's your Saturday going?
It's really nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I mean, how everyone else is, like there's like nothing to do. So it's just a matter of like trying to keep yourself busy with like I've done yoga. I did some Muay Thai. I had another interview at 11 today.
Oh, nice. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
then you've been really keeping busy.
Yeah, I've been trying because when I just sit down, I lose my mind. Even if it's like I've learned this lately is to write down everything that you have to do, even if it's like a minor thing.
Yeah.
And then scratch it out along the way. And then you look back and you're like, wow, I actually was pretty productive.
Yeah,
Because,
even if it's like showering, maybe you ate like a fancy lunch, maybe you went for like a 10-minute walk. That's actually what I've been doing too. Even if I go for a 10-minute walk, I write it down so that like every day that I move even a little bit, I'm like, oh, I didn't sit on the couch yesterday. I did something.
yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
The problem when I don't write it is even if I had the most productive day ever, I still think I didn't do enough. And then I start to panic.
Yeah.
So,
And then you're like, oh no, I'm like, my life is sinking away.
right.
Actually, have you seen, this is so random. We can jump into normal things in a minute, but there's this calendar that you're supposed to post on your wall that has like the weeks of your life. Like they calculate how long your life expectancy is, and it has a week per little circle, and you're supposed to fill it in every week, but like so that you like value your time. But to me, that just makes me panic.
That's morbid.
It's like a countdown to your death. My sister sent it to me and I was like, that is the most horrifying thing. Like, I do not want that in my house.
No, man. I get the message and I guess that works for people. That would not work for me. How are those people right now when you can't do anything?
Right? You fill in
Filling
a
those-
bubble after bubble and you're like crying every day.
You almost fill 52 bubbles of quarantine. You're like,
Yeah, exactly.
True
I'd
that.
fill out the bubbles of quarantine maybe with a different color. Maybe that would feel better. No, that would feel worse. I don't know.
I mean, just to visually see how long we've been in it, you're like,
Yeah.
oh. See, because like I like talking about it for a brief period because it's like just to get it off my chest because all of
Yeah.
us are alone in our thoughts. So it's like it's nice to talk about it for a bit.
Lockdown is ending in a couple days, right? Yes.
Is it?
It's supposed to be like not full on lockdown anymore in 3 days.
Yeah. My tattoo artist messaged me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I've been actually meaning to get another tattoo for a long time too, but it keeps getting closed and I can't go. Yeah, true. What's your next tattoo?
I'm gonna get a bear.
Ooh.
Probably right here somewhere. Fill the bicep in. I'm trying to get a full sleeve.
Are the rest of them animals too?
Yeah, well, kind of. So I've got this on my arm. If I don't know if you can really read it, but it says "I love you" in Flemish,
Oh, okay, cool.
and it's got like the willow plant. It was for my boma when she died.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've got that, and then I've got this, which is like the symbol of gratitude.
Oh, cool.
People think it's like a kiwi or something.
Yeah, it kind of like it looks a bit like a kiwi.
Yeah, it really. I don't blame people
Being
for it.
grateful for kiwis is good too. But
That's true. I love kiwi. But the other ones, yeah. So I've got the tiger, I've got a rhino, got a giraffe, and I've got a couple elephants.
So
then,
actually, wait, so you work at the zoo, right? Are these all, is that why, like, are you a huge animal person?
always, yeah, I've always been. Yeah, it's like a part of me.
No, well, yeah, literally now it's literally a part of you. It's
Literally,
on you.
that's right.
You
Yeah,
can't get rid of
yeah.
it.
Much to the dismay of my parents, but it's fine.
Whatever. Yeah, my mom.
Parents are always like that.
growing up, my mom always said, if you get a tattoo, you have to get it on your forehead. Otherwise, you're not allowed to get it. Because, like, I guess it was like you have to like live with the worst option. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's so stupid. And anyway, now I have like 7 tattoos and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, once it's done, what are they gonna do? Like,
No, absolutely nothing. And I remember for my first one, I was in the chair when my dad called me and said, "I don't think you should do this." And I was like,
you're like,
"Oh,
well, too late.
a little late for that."
Yeah, my dad actually came with me to my first one.
Nice. That's nice of him. Yeah, my mom was like that. So roles reversed there. She was
True.
like
Yeah.
helping me with where to put it and stuff.
I feel like there's usually a bad cop, good cop situation in
Yeah,
most parents.
there has to be.
Has to be, otherwise it doesn't work out. Anyway, well, I guess we can kind of hop into, I mean, I've actually never met you. If so you can tell me a little bit about yourself and tell anyone who's listening just like your general elevator pitch of who you are as a human.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes when people ask me, I'm like, I don't know, I'm a dude.
No,
Yeah.
it's good.
No, but so I'm Harry. Um, I live in Brooklyn, Ontario, which is kind of like near Whitby. Do you know where Whitby is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
So
area.
I live right outside of Whitby. I went to the University of Guelph. I've got one course left. It's such a pain in the butt,
Oh,
but
I
we're
have 2
getting
courses left. I'm in the same boat.
it's brutal, eh? Like at least now we have so much free time that it's doable, but like it's so naggy. It's like
It's like, can you just give me the freaking diploma, please?
seriously. And the thing is, like this is a tangent, but I literally only do like an assignment every other week. So it's nothing, but it's
Yeah,
still like
it's
in the
still
back of my
there.
mind.
Yeah. Well, because
Brutal.
everyone, I'm sure you feel the same. Like everyone, at least for me, all my friends have graduated, and I'm like so close that it's just like, oh, I can taste it, but it's not there yet, and it's
Yup.
so annoying. But
Yeah.
whatever, it's okay. We're not behind anyone. It's just, you know.
Well, like what are they doing right now? It's we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm still at Guelph for biology. That's what I'm
Okay.
studying.
Nice.
Um, I was on the varsity swim team for all 4 years. Captain in my last year. I like to brag about that subtly for a lot of people. I've been a competitive swimmer for 11 years. Host of my own podcast and
Plug it. Plug it. What's it called?
oh, it's called the H-Panel. Um, it's on all podcast platforms, but that's pretty much me. I mean, I don't know.
And the Toronto Zoo. You work at the zoo, which is so cool. I'm so
Yes,
jealous of that job. It's so cool.
I get that a lot. Yeah. Usually my job is great. Like I love working there, and it was such a trip to get the email and then go in to apply and like walk back into the zoo and look around because that was like my little safe haven when I was a kid was the zoo. We would go every day and
Yeah.
I would like just lose
You go
myself.
every day?
Well, like there was like we go every day in the summer.
Okay.
Like we had
Well, that's still a
memberships, so we
lot.
just
Wow.
kind of went.
Oh, okay. True. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, that's expensive, but true membership. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. No. We paid every time.
Yeah. I was like, holy crap. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but so we went and it was just like an escape for me as a kid. Like it was really cool and I loved animals already. So to go there, because I hadn't been there since I was like 6 or 7. So to go there at 19, 20 and
And
just
go
to see
behind the
everything again,
scenes.
it was like
Yeah.
a trip down memory lane. And that was the first time in a job interview where I don't know what happened, but I walked in and instead of being nervous or anything, I was like, I'm getting this. I was like, no one is taking this job from me because there was no way I was going to walk into the place that I had called home for so long and not get that job. I was like, this is
No.
happening. So
Yeah, no, I love that. I
yeah,
mean, that's probably why you got it. You were like, I'm already working here. You can't get rid of me.
I was like, I already bought my clothes, man.
Yeah. You walk into the interview in the uniform and they're
Yeah.
like,
Who are you?
you
It's like,
got them custom embroidered yourself, and they're like,
yeah,
okay, cocky, confident.
yeah, maybe a little too cocky. But yeah,
Really
I'm very lucky because usually I'm a camp counselor. I teach kids about the animals at the zoo.
Oh,
Um,
okay. So you already worked there. Like, wait, or is that the job you originally got?
that was the job I originally got. That
Right.
was it no, it was 2 summers ago, man. Last year went so quick, but also
Yeah,
so slow.
what year is it? I have no clue.
Yeah, this is 2020. Like once we get out of quarantine, it's 2020.
Yeah,
Um,
I like all those TikToks that are like at the end of this, like your last birthday didn't count. Like you're still the
it's
same
true.
age. And I'm like, true. I really hope
Yeah,
that's true.
it's true.
But yeah, so you got the counselor job like 2 summers ago, but now I guess you just take care of the animals or
No, so I got the counselor job and I got to teach kids about the zoo, which was really
yeah,
cool. And we got to go behind the scenes. I got to feed the animals. I
yeah,
got to like meet them. It was a dream come true. I mean, the kids were kind of a pain in the butt, but
yeah.
everything else was like a dream come true. And then last year, because the zoo was closed, I got redeployed to custodial,
Oh.
which no knock on any custodians, but
But not as exciting.
it was a bummer. And the actual custodian job wasn't terrible, and the people I was working with were great. So it kind of made time go quicker. The one thing that I hated was when they reopened to like a certain amount of people back in the summer when like quarantine was kind of lifted, but not
Yeah.
really. They had us sitting in front of the washrooms and like going in and cleaning it after each person.
Oh, no. And you're so like, I know this is so gross, but like if someone had, a situation, then you know exactly whose it was. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You
oh
go
yeah.
right after them.
You get way too personal with people
Way
who
too
don't want
up
to
in
get
people's
personal.
business.
The amount, like, I don't want to get into the detail. Well, I could, but I'd
That's
rather,
okay. I
I
mean,
won't.
I'm into toilet humor, but I doubt everyone is.
I don't want to burden your listeners with like my horror stories, but let's just say there were a couple times where I was like, this is not worth it.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're like, well, because it's not the job you applied for too. Like you,
Yeah.
if you had applied for it and this is what you were hoping to do, I mean, then you already knew. But like you got like switched over to something you
Mhm.
weren't necessarily into, which kind of sucks. But I mean, you still had a job, which is better than a lot of
Yeah.
people can say. So
I was just gonna say like it sucked and it you got to see a side of people that you just never want to see. But the fact that the zoo did give me a job and kept me going, like I'm thankful for that. Like
oh,
I
that's so lucky.
a lot of people didn't have jobs, right? And it was nice to have an everyday thing to go to, even if it was so terrible. Like I was still at the zoo, so it was still like
Yeah.
the dream come true was there, but like in a different kind of.
Yeah, it was like the dark side of the moon. You were like, I made it, but it's shitty, but that's
But I'm
okay.
clean, literally.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep, yep.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, yeah, that's still cool. Wait, so what's your favorite zoo animal then? Do you have one?
I
Are they?
love the hippo. I do.
Oh, yeah.
The river hippos are my favorite. And then I think right next to them the rhinos. The rhinos are like big dogs, which I would have never expected,
Yeah,
but
I thought they were supposed to be like scary, or like hippos are supposed to be scary, I thought.
hippos are terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, hippos are so dangerous, but rhinos are just like dogs that can't see. So they're like
Oh,
skittish, but they play tag with each other and
what? Oh my gosh, the hippo makes me think of, do you remember when we were little that like I'm assuming we're around the same age, but when we were little, like the house hippo commercials?
yes.
Oh my God, so cute.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Every
all I used to think that was real. I used to think that was so real.
every Canadian has a pet house hippo is the cutest thing. Oh,
I
and
was like,
we all feed them Timbits.
I know. I was like, really? We have a house hippo?
Where is it?
Yeah, I can't find it. My parents are
So
like,
cute.
this isn't my kid. This kid's so stupid.
This kid is
Like,
a little too dumb.
yeah, seriously. It's
And
like,
this
okay,
kid goes
Harry,
to the zoo.
Harry, you're 15, all right? Like, it's time to put that theory to rest.
Yeah, this is last week.
Yeah.
So with the whole varsity swimming thing, you talk about that a lot on your podcast. And
Yes.
so haven't listened to all of your episodes, obviously, because there's lots of them, and I just recently found you through Jordy.
How dare you?
So I guess I don't really know the origin story of what happened. Why did you start the podcast, and kind of what was your what's with that?
What's with that, man? First of all, how dare you not listen to all my stuff?
I'm sorry, I'd have to binge listen like for a long time.
God,
I don't
no.
have that much time. I do work a job, so.
Oh, no excuse. No, but so the So originally it wasn't supposed to be a podcast. It was supposed to kind of just be like a show on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but before that all started, I had my own internal battles, and I had my own recovery process. Um and I didn't really tell people, like my inner circle, and by my inner circle I mean like my family, the girl I was seeing, like that tight knit group. They knew that I had my battles, but most people didn't, because I was like, I'm a guy, I'm an athlete. No one has ever talked about this in my life. I'm sure people had, but
But
in
to you, it felt like you were the first one ever to have this issue. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So because all the guys I looked up to as a kid, as a young athlete, as a young student, as anything, as a young boy in general, no one talked about this stuff. So I was just like, I don't want to talk about this, especially because I'm on the varsity swim team now. Like, people on campus know me. I'd rather just suppress it. And then it got like really bad. And then once I started getting the help I needed, I got asked if I wanted to come on to a men's only mental health panel at the University of Guelph.
Oh, that's so
Um,
cool.
and
How did they find you?
yeah,
Did you like post something and then they like asked you or?
well, okay, so what year was it? I think it was 2018 or something. This little company called Undress the Jersey wanted me to make a little post about my journey. So I shared it with them, and they made an Instagram post about it.
Oh.
And it wasn't like anything in detail. It was just kind of like, hey, I've struggled before and I've been able to whatever. Keep in mind, I was still struggling pretty bad when I made this post. I just kind of made it so people thought, like, didn't worry about me.
Yeah, but I mean, anytime that it's not like you can ever post something or say to anyone like, "Hey, I'm 100% better," because like mental health is never like perfect, even when you're working on yourself. So yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, but you were still in the thick of it, I guess.
Big time, yeah. And then the following year, U Sports interviewed me for an article for Bell Let's Talk Day.
Oh,
Do you,
cool.
do you know what U Sports is?
I mean, I'm assuming it has something to do with university sports. Like, is that what U
Yes.
stands for?
Yeah. Well, I guess now it's called. What's it called now? I don't know what it's called now, but it's something stupid. But we called it U Sports, and it was it's like all the universities in Canada. That's like the thing, but it's like all the universities are within U Sports. But they interviewed me for an article for Bell Let's Talk Day, and then that's kind of what opened the gate to people realizing like I had internal struggles. But even then, I didn't really go into depth because there were still parts of me I felt uncomfortable sharing,
Yeah.
and
Well, and
so.
somehow it feels like you never know where the line is, where like you're like, okay, people are willing to listen to this, but what if I step it one step further and then what if they shun me if I go into like a little bit deeper? And like that sucks that there even is even that question mark, but like I totally get that. It's like, what if I let one tear out? Is that the line where people like kick me out and don't like me anymore? You know what I mean? So I totally get that. You were like on the edge.
Exactly. Well, for a long time, that was the line. It was like, "Hey, I'm sad," and everyone's like, "Bravo!" And then it was like, "Hey, I have like thoughts of ending it," and they're like, "Whoa, hey, that's controversial. Don't you dare say
And
that."
you're
And
like, but that's how I feel. So
it's
what
like,
do you want
wait,
me to do? Just like pretend it's
exactly.
not happening? Like,
So yeah, and for a long time, I didn't. And then in that last for that men's mental health panel, I didn't really think about the panel at all until the week before, and then I was like, I got to write something for it. And then that's kind of when I decided to really open up about everything. And then even then, like, there's obvious restrictions, like you can't go into detail about the thoughts you've had or
yeah, I mean,
things,
you
just
well,
trigger
you
warnings,
can,
right?
but like you kind of have to be careful with it. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, and like you got to be respectful for trigger warnings and everything. But that was kind of where I fully opened up to people, and it was like a group of 300 random people, and it felt weird doing it. Like I didn't. It felt okay. Like it felt like a weight had lifted off my shoulders, but it didn't feel like, yeah, I overcame the beast, because I was still in it, right?
yeah.
But then for a week after, there was like a bunch of people reaching out saying like how my story helped them and how a lot of people are going through the same thing. And I was like, you know what? I could advocate for this, because I wasn't, it had gone to a point where I wasn't like shy with sharing how I was feeling, because it was like, if you don't really want to listen to me or you don't want to be friends with me because I feel that way, good riddance. Like, I don't want you here.
Yeah.
And so for a couple months, I like planned what I was going to do. And like my family was hesitant because they were like, what about employers? And I was like, if they don't employ me because of that, then I don't want to work
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, if
Um,
they don't want you
yeah.
because of being open about mental health, then like why would you want to work there?
Yep. There's a
It's like
lot of
the whole
people
thing
like
of
that.
like if you don't get a job because of your tattoos, like that's what was my mom's huge argument too with a tattoo thing. It's like if I don't get a job because they don't like my tattoos, then those people are closed-minded enough that I don't want to work there. Like how is
Right.
that like things like that I just don't understand. I mean, especially the mental health one, but the tattoos
Mhm.
is even like a weird what? Anyway, yeah.
That's why I love the zoo because everyone's got a sleeve and my boss likes all my posts. So
So
perfect.
you know he supports all of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So that idea kind of ruminated, and then 2 days before the pandemic happened, I started my channel, and it was just on YouTube, and it was originally just going to be me talking about my story. And so I made the intro post and or intro video, sorry, and then I made another video talking about comparing yourself to social media standards. Um, but in that video, I made a vlog where I was like, I'm going to take you through a day of school. And when I got to school, everything had shut down because of COVID.
Oh my God. Wow. That's so weird. That's like
Yeah.
such weird cosmic timing.
Right? It was weird. And it had nothing to do with the pandemic. I was going to start it anyway.
Yeah.
And then in the video, I'm like, I can't show you anything because COVID just hit us. So, and then,
You're like, so come home with me.
yeah, exactly. And then, so I was originally going to what made the show happen, this is a long-winded answer to your question, but what made the show happen was I realized that yes, I have a lot of stories and I want to advocate, but I also don't know everything. I know my own personal experience, and that's I'm kind of limited in that way, and I'm also not licensed to do anything. So I wanted to talk to other people about their experiences, and it wasn't even going to be professionals. It was just going to be like my friends and athletes I knew on campus. So that's how it started.
Yeah.
And
Like
then
a
it kind of
sharing circle on camera.
exactly, yes. And then it kind of branched off into something bigger. Like I got a couple like Olympians and pro sports people and just a bunch of people who I never planned for it to happen that way. And then uh eventually the discussion started getting long. And so people were like, we love the videos, but we're not going to stay on YouTube for like an hour and a half. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. So then I just converted it to podcast.
Yeah, because you can listen to a podcast all day long. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And like YouTube, you have to stay on YouTube unless you got premium. So it's like, it's
right.
inconvenient. I get it. I just wanted the face to face action. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's,
same. And I feel the same. That's why I'm doing it on IGTV because I was like, I don't want it to just be listening because I feel like,
mhm,
I don't know. Yeah, like people can see you as you're talking and it's way more personal.
it's way better. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. So the reason I didn't want to be on podcast platforms was because I was like, everyone and their grandma has a podcast right now.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to fall into that. But
But everyone and their grandma and their baby have a vlog, so it's kind of like
it's true.
you gotta go everywhere to get somebody to look at
Right,
it.
there's so many of us, there's bound to be like oversaturation and everything. So I was like, you
Yeah.
know what, it's so then I just went to podcast platforms. I found it's been great, um but I did want to keep that face to face because this is a little horror, not a horror story, but like I was getting interviewed for someone's show and they were only filming audio. So they were like this the whole time of the recording. I was talking about my story like I am now, and they were just kind of like,
Oh no. And like but you had the camera going so you could see that they were doing that? That's so awkward. I would be like
what? Oh yeah. So next question. Yeah, that's what it was like. It was terrible,
I would literally be like, "Do you want me here? Because I don't feel like you do."
right? Yeah.
Oh my God,
But yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of where it started, and I don't know where it's gonna go, but
Yeah,
I
like,
mean, I'm
well,
having
do you have plans for? Like, are you kind of just going week by week and like doing it for as long as you want to, or are you hoping to like build it into a full-time thing? Or
yeah. So I think my goal is to do it full time. I mean, at this point in time, it seems a little unrealistic. just because I'm still kind of new. Like my year is the same time that quarantine
Yeah,
turns a
so
year.
in a month you're a year old. Oh my
In a
gosh.
month, I'm a year old, so I'm still a baby. But I think I'm pretty confident in like what I'm doing, which for a lot of my life I haven't been very confident in a lot of things I've done.
Well, so
So
then stick with it. Once you find something you feel good in,
yeah,
like don't let it go.
well, exactly. I don't want to let it go. So I just recorded my 50th episode.
Whoa,
Um,
congrats.
yeah, thank you. And I'm just gonna keep going. I mean, I love talking about it. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. So if I could do this full time, that'd be perfect. Um, and ideally, we get back to a place where people can come in person and I can talk to them in person because I do a
Yeah.
lot better with that than the Zoom gloom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm aiming towards. I'd like to get more full time with it.
Maybe get a studio, maybe
Mm,
graduate from the snowball.
that'd be cool. Yeah, yeah. You get the moving one, the moving microphone.
Yeah, or like Joe Rogan has some sort of fancy setup.
Yeah.
Maybe get something like that.
That's the goal. I mean, that's every podcaster's goal is Joe Rogan. So
Yeah, actually mine isn't Joe Rogan. Mine is do you know the podcast My Favorite Murder?
no.
Oh, they were like number one for a long time too. They're like two comedian ladies who basically just share true crime stories and mental health stuff. And they're just like hilarious. And I feel like they're my best friends, even though I've never met them. But they like, if I could have a show like them, that would be sweet.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, man, like you've already got your foot in the door, right? That's the thing is like
I got like a toe in the door.
a toe. Yeah, right. I don't even think I've got a full foot in, but like it's all about like mm, I don't want to say manifesting because you can, but you have to also put the work in. But if
Yeah,
you've
you
got
can't
like
manifest without action. You gotta,
exactly, but if you're working like you are and you got the mindset like I want to be like that, then
yeah.
you're on your way.
I mean, also, I don't really want to be exactly like that because they're
Uh,
really famous now. Like they're like recognized on the street. Like I don't want that kind of fame.
yeah, that's too much. That's
That's
too
not
much.
really I don't know, goal. I don't really feel like being recognized. It sounds
Mhm.
horrible, but yeah. Oh, actually, on that note, this is maybe you're not, are you into Britney Spears at all?
I mean, I like her music, but
Have
I
you
don't
been
follow it.
following her like conservatorship drama at all?
No. What is
Oh,
that?
okay. Well, so a conservatorship is based. Sorry, this is such a weird tangent, but we were talking about being recognized on the street, and that made me think of like how Britney Spears was like being like harassed by paparazzis and stuff for all those years, and she had like her breakdown or whatever.
Mm.
There's a whole new documentary that just came out last week about how she's being her dad is on like without her consent is taking control of all of her finances and all her business decisions because she's apparently unfit to make decisions for herself because of her breakdown like 12 years ago. So basically she legally signed over her like power of attorney like 12 years ago when she was really mentally unwell. And now basically once you're under a conservatorship, it's really hard to get out of it. But her dad is basically like paying himself millions of dollars a year out of her finances. And she basically can't make any decisions for herself, even though she's 40 years old. Anyway, so there's a whole documentary about it. It's kind of cool. I don't, if you're not a Britney fan though, you might not be interested, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah.
That's wild.
Get her on the show. Get her on your podcast.
Yeah, yeah. She's gonna look at me and go, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah, like, and she isn't even really allowed to talk, like, speak out about it. So, like, she's kind of been, like, making some subtle posts about it, but, like, she's not really legally allowed to post about it. So, it's been, like, a really
Man,
weird behind the scenes thing. But yeah.
that's so
Anyway,
sad.
yeah, it's really sad. Yeah. Actually the documentary made me cry. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna lie. It yeah, just like how the media portrayed her as some psycho was
Mhm.
just not like I've said this before on my podcast a few episodes ago, but like using the word crazy or psycho or anything like that for anyone who's going through anything is just so wrong to me. It's like I don't know. That's just like belittling what they're going through. Like they're not just crazy. They clearly have something going on.
Yeah, no, you nailed it in the head. It's literally just people who are either too lazy or just too close-minded to understand what's going on, so they just need to put a label like that on it.
Or like they don't want to see themselves in that crazy person. So they're like, I need to separate myself from that crazy person. Like if they're crazy, I'm not crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, that was something I worried about when I was opening up for sure. It was like I'm not crazy. But I was kind of labeled that for a while. Not crazy, but like a hothead, because growing up as a young boy, I was only taught to be happy and to be angry, and there was no in between.
oh,
And
that's so sad.
yeah, so in like the prime developing stages of my life, I would be like at swim practice, and if a swim practice went the wrong way, older guys would like punch the lockers and cuss and like, get really pissed off. So I was looking up as a young boy. I was like, that's how you react when you're sad. I get it. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh no. I guess you
So
don't have a
then,
big brother then.
no, I'm the oldest. Yeah.
True.
So then it was like my whole life, I'd get upset or one inconvenience happened. I'd get overwhelmed, black out, get super pissed off. And no one was willing to help because why would you help the crazy person?
Yeah, well, and they're just gonna label you, yeah, like you said, as the hothead, and they're gonna be like, "Ooh, we don't want to deal with that guy." But like, that's clearly not. You don't want to be that guy either. like
Right?
your goal isn't to be that guy.
I wasn't born going, yeah, I want to be a hothead.
Yeah, I want to scare
That's
people
never
and
been.
lose my shit. Like, no one wants that. So
Yeah, it feels so good when I come out of a blackout moment and everyone's afraid of me. That's like the best feeling in the world. Like, no.
that's your high. You're high on life.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's the worst feeling on the planet. Like I didn't choose to be angry all the time. But
Yeah.
I mean, we're switching the narrative slowly
Well,
because
you're doing that work, which is amazing.
thank you. Yeah, it's been the first, I want to say month, first month or two, it was uncomfortable. It was like, I don't want to keep doing this because once you're exposed or once you expose yourself or you're out there forever. Like
Yeah.
and it's pretty intimidating. Like the internet's pretty intimidating, but I mean, once you get past those first 2 months, it's like, I know what I'm doing here and I know why I'm doing it. And that's all I care about. I don't care about these little negative comments that come my way. Um,
Well, and like you said, anyone who doesn't stick around because of you sharing something important to you isn't worth worrying about. Like that's not, yeah, you're not
exactly.
doing it for those people.
Well, I'm not doing this for approval from people who don't approve of me. Like
Yeah,
that's not,
exactly. Like I'm not, yeah, no, totally. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I kind of felt the same with this podcast. Like, I mean, it's not as scary because my whole topic isn't mental health, but like basically I was like, am I like such a narcissist that I want to start my own podcast? And like I
Yeah.
like not even kidding did a narcissism quiz the other day because I was like, do I have to worry? Am I like am I crazy for wanting to like share my thoughts and share people out there? But like but then I was like, hold on. No, it doesn't even matter. Like I don't care if like literally only my family listens. Like I just want to like share out people's stories. Like if a lot of the people that listen to me don't know that you exist, and if I can share your story, then like that just amplifies your work. And like sharing my best friend's work who does like fashion design, if I can lift her up, well then like we're just like raising the community, that's the goal of the podcast, not to hear myself talk.
Yeah, no, I'm the exact same way. It's like, well, and the other bonus is like you get to talk to all these people that you would have never talked to before, which
Yeah,
is
I would have never
pretty
spoken
dope.
to you in my life.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I've been asking everybody what their favorite movie is because I'm a huge movie person, and I feel like your favorite movie says a lot about you. So, what is your favorite movie?
The Lion King.
The first one, of course, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not the no, the live action. No,
Ew!
I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
no,
kidding.
no, 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 no,
You
no.
know what though? Okay, here's the thing. Here, listen. I'm gonna defend the live action for a second.
Okay.
And this is very controversial with a lot of people I talk to. First of all, before we even get into that, it's Lion King. My favorite movie is Lion King, no question. It's been that way since I was born. It's just Like,
I mean, it's a masterpiece. You
it
can't.
is. The soundtrack, the cast,
The
the
animation, also Simba and
animation,
Nala are like the most attractive animated creatures of the planet. Like,
right?
who didn't have a crush on Simba or Nala? Everyone.
Yeah, I had a huge crush on Simba. But so,
Same.
but so for the live action, I enjoyed it, and I'm gonna say why. It's not because like I watched it later and I said this isn't that great, but in the time, all the camp counselors at the zoo, we went to the movie theater together to watch it. So we rented out two of the rows, and it was just us. And I got so wine drunk at the movie theater from those little cans that the whole movie I was laughing and giggling and just it was the best time. So I always associate that movie with that moment. So I'm like, I
True.
kind of liked it. And everyone's like, how
Ooh.
dare you? You know, the original. I'm like, what? It's my favorite movie. You can't even say that.
Well, also, if it's your favorite movie, then any version of it's going to be pretty okay, you know?
Right. See, and I also didn't have the bar set so high for my expectations because
Yeah.
it's like, really, how good can it be?
Yeah,
I
well, it
thought it was
can't beat
okay.
the first one. Like
No, no,
that's
no.
how
That's
I
the
feel
thing.
like about Mulan. Like Mulan is one of my top, definitely top 10 movies. Mulan is in there. And it's from our birth year, by the way, if you didn't know.
Oh, really?
It is. But it like I'm afraid to watch the real one, like the live action one, because like what if it ruins it for me? But so I'm gonna keep my expectations real low. And
Mm-hmm. You have to.
I hope it's okay because
Yeah.
I do want to watch it. I feel like I owe it to the original to watch the new one.
Right. Yeah. There was like some controversy about Mulan, but I never really looked into it.
It was about like I think it was about that they were filming in an area that had like captive, not captive,
Oh, like camps?
yeah, concentration camps of like the Uyghur people. Am I making that? Oh, that might be the wrong word. Anyway, of a certain group of Chinese people, like a part of the Chinese population that is like discriminated against, and there's a concentration camp somewhere there. And I
Mm,
think they were filming in that area, and like people were like, "Why are you doing that? You shouldn't." I don't know. Like, I don't know exactly the details, but that was what it was about.
right.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Yeah, that's not a great start. Okay, so Lion King's number one, but what if you had to choose a live action one, like a real movie? Not that Lion King isn't a real movie.
How dare you?
It's a real movie. It's the realest of movies, but
That's right.
yeah.
Ooh, man, that's tough. Live action.
Only movie you've ever seen is Lion King.
That's it. That's the only movie I've ever seen. I'm a huge rom-com guy.
Really? What's your
Um,
favorite rom-com?
see, I don't even know. I don't
Okay,
know.
what's one you really like? It doesn't have to be your favorite.
I just watched Crazy Stupid Love again.
That's a good one. That's a
I
good
cried 3 times.
one.
Um,
Okay.
yep. So
Well,
I'm a
Steve
big crier
Carell's
too.
in it, which makes it like an automatic go. Like anything
Yes.
with Steve Carell can't be bad.
Yeah, Steve Carell's sick. I love Steve Carell. What's your top movie? If you ask the question, you have to have an answer
Well,
yourself.
I have answered this on the show before, so if anyone remembers, but I'll answer it again. It's this movie from 1940, which sounds like I'm trying to be a hipster, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually just really, really, really good. Like I think it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which like is a rare thing because Rotten Tomatoes is ridiculously hard to get a good score on.
Really?
But it's I've just watched it since I was a kid because like my parents are really big like old music, old movie people. And anyway, it's called The Philadelphia Story, and it's with Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, and Jimmy Stewart. Do you know any of those people?
I know Hepburn.
Yeah. Well, you might know Audrey Hepburn, which is a different person.
Right. That's why.
But yeah, so those three. But anyway, Katharine Hepburn, like I've read her autobiography too, so I'm just like a huge fan of her. She's like she was like one of the first ladies in like the 30s and 40s that was like started the trend of like wearing pants in public. Like women weren't really supposed to
Mm,
wear pants; they were only supposed to wear dresses and skirts. And she like wore pants and like was her own like bold badass self and like never got married and was just like this like amazing like anyway, so she is the main leader of that movie, and that movie is just it's so good. I recommend, especially if you like rom-coms, then you will like this one because
Ooh,
it's like a really really well written rom-com. It's
Well,
good.
the Philadelphia Story,
The
is that what it's
Philadelphia Story. Yeah.
called? I'll check that out tonight.
Yeah, the 1941. Don't watch. There's a remake. Don't watch that. I watched
On
it.
the
That was the last movie I saw in theaters before COVID hit. I watched it the night before COVID happened.
in theaters?
Yeah, I watched it at a. Do you know? Oh no, you're not from Kitchener Waterloo. There's like a vintage theater in Kitchener.
Mm.
And they have like old movies that they play, and it's awesome. You get to have
Oh,
like you can have wine with like velvet seats, and they play old movies. It's awesome.
oh, that should be everywhere.
That should be everywhere. Everyone needs one of those. That one's called the Apollo Theater. I'm gonna plug them because they're cool. The Apollo Theater, and then the other one is called the Princess Cinema, and they're both
Mm.
really cool.
Quick little sponsor.
Yeah.
On the topic of old movies, I have a pretty good story about you must have seen The Sound of Music.
Of course, of course, of
Yeah.
course. Oh, Christopher Plummer is dead.
Yes, rest in peace
Rest in peace.
to a real
Sad.
one. Um, so this I used to be into acting.
Mm.
Shout out to
Yes,
Pharrell
I was
again.
going to ask you that actually. I heard that on your episode with Jordy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I used to before swimming, I was into acting. I did plays, I did musicals. Uh,
Did you sing?
I had a solo. Um,
In The
I
Sound of
don't
Music?
know. So
Oh,
here's what happened. So the I was in musicals and stuff, and the big production of The Sound of Music was coming to Toronto. I don't know how many years ago that was. I must have been. It was before swimming, so it must have been like 9 or 8. And my mom was like, "You should apply because you're good at acting." And I was like, "Mom, like The Sound of Music, it was like up here, and I had just been doing like The Wiz and Treasure Island, like little productions here and there." And so she was like, "You've got nothing to lose. You have a year to prepare." So for every day, every morning for a year, I would sing to my mom. I would sing the the original song, like "The Hills Are Alive" with the sound of
yeah,
music.
yeah,
You know that one? Every day for a year just to prep my vocals, get like remember the words, get everything down.
yeah.
And so we got her and I went to when the day came. Her and I went to the place, and every other kid there for the part, they were all my age, but they all had agents. They were all in like suits. They had like these
Whoa.
full resumes of what they were doing. And my resume was literally I did some plays, and the only job I've ever had was dog sitting. Like
Aw.
that was my resume, and my agent was my mom. So we get there, and I'm already immediately intimidated. I'm like, I can't do this. Like this isn't. And all these guys are professionals. And my mom's like, "You've been practicing all year. You've got this. Just go in, work with your charm, and you'll get it." I was like, "Okay, dope." So I get in there, and it's like one room, and it's got 3 walls, no windows. It's like white walls. It's like one of those in the movie. It's like
Like a
in a movie.
closet?
Well, no, it's like huge. It's like a little gymnasium thing. It's
Okay.
like
Oh, okay.
in
Yeah.
like one of those movies where they have someone like a villain chained up, and they, you know what
Like
I
an
mean?
interrogation room?
Yes. So it's
Okay.
like that, and there's 3 judges, and they're at a table. Uh, they go like, "What's your name? Who are you?" And I said it, and they're like, "Are you gonna sing?" And I was like, "Yeah." So like, okay. So they played the instrumental for the song, and I'm standing there in front of these 3 judges. There's no windows. There's nothing. It's white. They're all like, whatever. Like, let's get through it because they
You've
had been
probably
listening.
seen like hundreds of kids. Yeah.
Exactly. And I forgot every single word as soon as the song started, and I hummed the entire song in front of these judges because I couldn't remember a word. And at the end, they would go, there was like this awkward little silence, and they go, "That's it?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "That's all you have?" I'm like, "Yep." And they're like, "Thanks." And then I walk out, and my mom goes like, "How'd it go?" And I was like, "I never want to do plays ever again." And that was the last time I ever did a play.
Oh, that's so sad. Oh,
Yo, wasn't meant to be. I don't know.
can you sing it now?
Right now, no.
I'm kidding. I actually have
I
a very similar situation. Well, okay, not exactly the same, but probably around the same age. I'm like a big Marilyn Monroe fan because, like, who isn't? And
mhm.
I like was trying to get into like the grade 6 talent show, and I had this blonde wig and everything, and I was gonna do like Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend with like this whole outfit, and I was like, I had a dance and like everything I've been practicing for so long. And exactly the same thing. I walk in, the instrumental goes, and I was like, I got nothing.
it I don't know. I don't even remember like the fact that kids have so much confidence. Like the fact that I had the confidence to stand there in front of these professional judges and
And
hum, waste their time.
I would pay so much money to see that video.
I wouldn't. I would pay to have it burned. The fact that I think they get paid really good money to judge very talented people, and I wasted 3 minutes of their life
But I'm
humming.
sure they saw someone worse that day. I'm sure.
I don't think so. On the topic of talent shows, I also remember this one time. My brain remembers all the traumatic moments when I was a kid, and that's it. It was like the grade 1 talent show. I don't know, like I can't believe I remember this, but my talent was to play piano, but I had never played piano before. I just wanted to impress a girl in my class.
That's so cute. You're 6 years old and you're like, this is my moment.
Yeah, I was like, this is the girl I want to marry. So I have to impress her now.
Oh my
So I
God,
said,
where is she?
I don't know, somewhere. I mean, she wants nothing to do with me. But so
Because your
I,
piano playing was bad.
so I didn't know how to play piano, but I signed up for it. So I went home and I was like, I need to learn like a song ASAP. And they're like, okay, here's the easiest song to learn, and it was the alphabet, like A B C whatever.
Like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is the same song.
I think it was one of them because
Well,
it's the
because they're
same
the
thing.
same tune, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, unless you were singing along, no one can tell the difference.
exactly. So that was the one I practiced for weeks. And I get into the room where you audition, and a kid in front of me played piano as well, and he did the exact same song. And I was like,
Oh.
what the hell? And so he left, and then they were like, all right, Harry, come on, let's see what you got. And I freestyled. I just,
Was it good?
I didn't, no, I didn't. I have no musical ability. So it was just like, dun, 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 dun. And they were like,
Yeah, but
okay,
the
like, is that
confidence to freestyle piano is also off the charts.
right? Like, where is that confidence now?
Actually, wait. So, but with your rapping, you actually did write something.
I
No?
don't want to plug my rap.
Come on. Come on.
I so I loved making music because at the time I was going through a rough spot. So it was a nice little outlet because it was me and my best friend, and we did like a partnership, and we kind of just fed off each other's energy and like wrote music together. And it was the process of making music is so fun. Um and we weren't that bad. I mean, I know, people who make their own music think they're the greatest. We're definitely not the greatest, but I didn't think we were terrible for like the resources we had. Um, it just never fell through. It was like we made a whole album, and then
You made a
like,
whole album. That's so much
yeah,
work. Holy
it took the whole summer. It took the whole summer, and then we kind of just never got it into production. So we were like, and kind of brushed it off. But making music is so fun. Like I never wanted anything to come with it. It was just the process, and being there with my best friend is so fun.
Well, that you even did it, like actually sticking through and making an entire album, like that's a lot of work. Like it doesn't matter if anyone hears it. That's really cool.
We had no idea what kind of work it would take. So like at the beginning of the summer, we're like, because a lot of people from our high school were making music, so we're like, are we about to do this? And we're like,
I'm
yeah,
about to
let's make.
make it big.
Yeah, we're about to become the next big duo.
Did you guys just rap over like sample beats or something, or did you make your own beats?
Oh no, sampled. That would have been brutal. No, we took them from YouTube. We actually paid for the leases of the beats because we were like, we're gonna release this. So a lot of money went into it. There was one cool moment where we sent one of our songs. We released two songs on SoundCloud, and one of them kind of blew up a little, like a little. I mean, like
Is it
5,000.
still there?
I'm not even gonna answer that. So,
I'm so gonna find it. No way, I'm not gonna find it.
I didn't use my name, so if you find it, I'll be genuinely very impressed. But we sent it into Hot 97.5 or 3, which is like a hip hop station in the States, because they were doing this thing where they were like critiquing people's music and whatever. So we're like, this is our chance to get recognized. So we sent in this song and we got 80% approval. And it was like,
Whoa.
yeah, it was like a board of a bunch of hip hop people, which was pretty sick. Like
That's
nothing came from
really,
it, but
really cool.
it was pretty, yeah,
80%, that's like an A. That's an A.
it's better than I've ever done in school. So I was like, is this our future?
I think
Are
it
we
is.
about to do
I
this?
think you're in the wrong recording business.
Yeah, you know what? Forget the podcast. I'm becoming a rapper, man.
Yeah. You just start uploading your podcast as raps and like you just
Oh,
your listener base sticks around.
I like I pretend I have a guest on and I put all this fake stuff and once you press play, it's just an album of me rapping.
It's just an hour of rap.
It's just clickbait.
Oh my God. Do you have any other creative hobbies, or I guess you did acting, you did singing, you've done podcasting. What else
Uh,
is there?
I used to write books.
Oh, same actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote this one book about a moose. All my books are involved with talking animals because I like animals better than people. Um, and so it was just like a moose who had a prophecy to fulfill or whatever. I don't even, and like there was a lot of bloodshed. I don't know. I was an angry kid. And and I sent it into an actual publication in Vancouver, and
But
they
look at this confidence. You're sending all your stuff out. You're like,
right.
somebody needs to see this work.
Right? I was so confident. I was like, this is getting published and it's gonna be a bestseller. And they sent me a letter back. This is how long ago it was. They didn't email me. They were like, yeah, you're going in the right direction, but we're not gonna publish this. But keep going at it. And I was like, sick. And then I never wrote again.
Oh.
Actually, I rewrote my book,
The moose one?
yeah, in 2019 because
Oh.
I got broken up with in the summer and I used that as fuel to rewrite the book and I wrote a whole book in a month and then I sent it into publicists and nothing. I had better success when I was a kid.
Was it like murdering the mooses? Were you angry or like what was going on?
No, yeah, the first chapter, and then he died. No, I don't even like. I don't even remember. It was just like one moose was chosen above all to be like the ruler of whatever, and then he had to go figure it out. And there were wolves trying to eat him. So it was like one of those stupid
So it's
books.
like
But
Harry Potter in moose form, basically. The
pretty
chosen
much,
one.
yeah.
With the whole mental health thing going back a little bit, is like, do you have any, like, I feel like you already talked about that, like, with guys, it's a little bit weirder to open up for some reason, just because of like societal norms, which I think is so sad and stupid. But like, for like a young guy, what would you say is like the best way to like start caring for yourself or like start the conversation? I don't know. That's kind of a big question, but you can
Mhm.
take that in any way you will.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that is a massive question. I'm trying to go back to where I was. I mean, the for younger guys now, it's still tough, but they do have it a little easier where like now it's more acceptable to talk about how you feel. Back when we were kids, like you'd be called all sorts of names just for crying in class.
Yeah.
Um, so if you're in that position where you do want to open up and you do want to, talk about how you're feeling, but you're scared to, the best thing to do is go to like the closest people you know first, because at the end of the day, those are the only people that really matter, like your friends and your close family. And like some of them aren't gonna, warm up to the idea quickly. I know a lot of people in my circle, they were like, we never thought that would be you because you put such a good mask on. So it took them a long time to accept, and that's gonna happen regardless. But if they really are your friends, like if they're really your best friends, then they're going to be there for you no matter what. and the family members that deserve to stay in your life will care about it. It's just going to be a bit of warming up, but that first step is always the hardest. It's always the speaking it into reality. That's the scariest thing. So what I did was I went to my friends first because I didn't know how my family was going to react. And that might not work for people. They might want to go to their family first. But for me personally, I went to my friends first. And then having them warm up to the idea and them accept me for who I was, like that kind of gave me a little more confidence to open up to other people.
Yeah.
But the other thing is like you shouldn't feel pressure to open up to everybody. Like
Mm-hmm.
not everyone needs to know what you're going through. But the people that are in your life and that are really close to you, they should at least have a brief idea. They don't need to know the details, but having them on the same page as you is like, it's a game changer. It really is, because then you start to feel like you're really not alone, because there's something in our heads that convinces us that we're the only people going through it, and then you just feel so lonely. So
Well, and then they have context too. Like if you randomly act out one day, like with what you were saying, where like you would randomly get hot-headed or whatever. Like for me, it's often like a random outburst of like weirdly weeping in public, and like that's so not me normally. But like when I'm going through something, that's like how like how I exhibit it. And like if no one has context, like how are they supposed to understand you or help you or anything? Like
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where I would start. If you do, like therapy doesn't work for everybody, but if that's something that you think might help, that's completely fine. But like if therapy is something that you're considering, then it is intimidating to go in. Like it took me 20 years to finally go, okay, fine.
and the
Um,
first person you go to isn't going to be the best either necessarily too.
yes,
It's
yes.
like finding like a friend or like a partner. Like a therapist has to match you. You can't just go in and expect anyone to work too.
Yeah, exactly. That's a reason why a lot of people get discouraged, is because that first person doesn't mesh well and they just think I'm screwed forever because this therapist doesn't work for me, so none of
Yeah.
them will. That's just the idea. It's the same thing with like antidepressants, it's the same thing with any kind of mental health recovery. It's
Yeah.
even like, because recovery is not linear, so that one first little dip in your recovery that you experience, a lot of people get discouraged. But that's all part of the process, man. It's just keeping, like, knowing what the end goal is very important, and not to get discouraged on the little things like that. And also like the whole cliche, like it makes my eyes roll all the time still, is like you're never alone, because you aren't. That's just the reality. It's just once you believe that, then it gets a lot better. But I mean, I could tell you for hours on end that you're never alone, but if you don't believe that yourself, you're not going to. So it's just, once you do get that, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Because
No.
I know for me, like when people tell me that, I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like when some of the platforms are like, you're never alone, I'm like, "Bleh." But it's true. Like it's true. That's, you got to listen to the cliches sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. The cliches are cliche for a reason.
So I feel like I've shared most of the random facts about me. I usually don't talk about how I made music, so that's great.
You even sent your freaking recordings to a radio station is so cool. No one does that. It doesn't matter if it worked out or not. That is awesome that you even thought to do that and we're like, I'm gonna make it big. That's awesome.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
thank you so much for being on here. It was really nice to meet you. I feel like I already kind of met you by watching your videos, but
Yeah, no, it was great. Thank you for having me on. I love doing stuff like this. So it was
yeah,
nice to get the message.
and hopefully this was a little less heavy than some other episodes that you have to do.
Yeah, man, definitely. So it was a nice little break.
Yeah, talk about Lion King for half an hour.
Perfect. Yeah, no, sometimes when I'm in the interviews, I'm like, oh, I could really talk about the Lion King right now.
You're like itching to talk about Simba. You're like, I can't not bring up my childhood crush right now. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, if you want to maybe plug your podcast specifically.
On Instagram and YouTube, it's the Mental Corner. It's the same for both. And then on podcast platforms, it's just the H panel. It's pretty simple. Um,
Is
the
the
H
H for
panel,
Harry?
yes.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's the H panel with Harry Potvin on every podcast platform. So yeah, that's where I can be found.
Awesome. Well, yay. Well, thank you so much. Well, so nice talking to you, Harry. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Okay, well, talk to you later.
All right, have a good one.
Make sure to follow on Instagram and TikTok at heyhiwhoareyou.pod to stay up to date on new guests and new episodes.